Yeah, we back. Now, today's gonna be a quick video, man. Just gotta show love to the audience, gotta show love to the family. We have recently hit 20,000 subscribers. Yes, indeed, 20,000. Now, usually when I hit these milestones, I typically do a video like this. When I hit, 5,000, when I hit 10,000, now I hit 20,000. So yeah, man. Now, some of y'all been with me since the very beginning. I see a lot of familiar faces in the comment section that go way back. Some of y'all been rocking with me when I had 150 subscribers, 600 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers. So first things first, shout out to my day ones. But at the same time, we definitely gonna show love to the recent arrivals, the newcomers. Shout out to the new members of the family. Yes, indeed. Now, like I always say, when I first started my channel, I didn't really think it was gonna go past, a couple thousand subscribers. That was really my goal. I was like, if I get like, a couple thousand, a few thousand, I'll be straight. I'll be cool. But just a couple years later, now here we are. Now, for those of y'all that have been with me since day one, you already know how I made my name in the game. I came into Black YouTube and I immediately went on the march, right? I came in the game like 50 Cent back in like 1999. I was dissing everybody, all the big names. I came in and I was marching on their heads. If you've been with me since day one, then you already know. And not only that, but my energy is not only limited to fellow content creators in the space, but it could be media personalities, it could be public figures, it could be heads of state, right? Just the last month, I made a series of videos coming directly at President Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda. So listen, nobody's safe on this channel. Everybody could get it, man. The heads of state to the random YouTubers on the goddamn internet. Everybody could get it, right? So that's one way I made my name in the game. Now, when it comes to my channel, I don't really know what category I would put it in. Now, get into the comment section for those of y'all that have been watching my channel for a very long time. What category would you put my channel in? Like, how would you describe my channel? Because I don't really know how I would describe it. I just simply get on the microphone and I express what I feel. Everything organic, everything authentic. I don't got any hidden sponsors or any hidden backers. Everything is all me, 100%. But now, usually on these videos, we go into the demographics of the audience. We give a shout out to the audience. We see where the audience is from, what cities and states, to kind of get an idea where the channel is popping at. Now, let's get into it. Let's take a look at some of the top countries that's rocking with the channel. At the top, number 1, the United States. Number 2, the UK, the United Kingdom. Number 3, Canada. Number 4, South Africa. Number 5, Germany. Number 6, Nigeria. Jamaica, France, Netherlands, Australia, Trinidad, Kenya, Uganda, Barbados, Rwanda. Oh man, now listen, I've been going in on Paul Kagame for the past month, right? I made a bunch of videos, destroying Kagame. So, they watching me at Rwanda, right? The Rwandan Secret Service, the Rwandan intelligence, they definitely watch the channel. Now let's continue. Ghana, Sweden. Now, believe it or not, we got family out in Sweden. I didn't even know, right? I didn't even know we got brothers out in Sweden. And I believe that Dr. Umar recently had a speaking engagement out in Sweden. And one of my subscribers was at the event and he actually asked Dr. Umar some questions that I had raised in one of my videos. So yeah, we actually got some of our family out in Sweden. Shout out to the black men and women living out in Sweden. That's crazy. Zambia, Belgium, Italy, Bahamas, Congo. Shout out to the family in the Congo. Yeah, you already know what it is. Ireland, man. What's going on in Ireland, man? Norway, man. They watching me in Ireland and Norway. Don't tell me we got blacks out in Norway. Botswana, Cameroon, Namibia. Shout out to Namibia. Shout out to Cameroon. Shout out to Botswana. Yeah. Now let's get into some of the top cities. We did the top countries. Let's get into the cities where the channel is popping at, right? At the top, New York. Listen, I'm always excited. I'm always proud every time I do these videos. New York is always at the top, right? Like I always say, it's a beautiful thing to be popping right where you at, right? The channel is most popping right where I'm at. That's crazy. This is the headquarters. This is the epicenter right here. Let's continue. London, Chicago, Houston, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Dallas, Texas, Toronto, Canada, Miami, Florida, Baltimore, Detroit, Boston, Charlotte. Basically, every city you see here, my channel is popping in all the black cities. All the cities where the black men and women at, that's where the channel is popping at. That's beautiful to me. All the cities where we deep at, that's where the channel is popping at. Even the top countries, right? When you look at the countries, you see, Jamaica, Uganda, Barbados, Trinidad, Nigeria, even the black countries, the black cities and states. Like, that's why I say in my video the other day, when I make my videos, my channel is tailored for black men and women. Now, of course, other nationalities, those from other walks of life, they can come enjoy the content as well. Absolutely, take a seat, enjoy the show. But mainly my target audience, when I make my content, who is tailored for, it's for my people, wherever they may be located around the world. And that's why I'm able to be fully organic and fully authentic. That's why I said I feel bad for some other content creators who, unfortunately, their audience might be a bit more, diverse. So they might not be able to be their authentic selves in front of the camera or behind the microphone. But because I tailored my audience directly to my people, I can be my authentic self. When you look at my demographics, all the black cities and states, all the black countries, right? And when I first started my channel, that is exactly what I planned for it to be. That's exactly what I had in mind. Now, let's continue. Orlando, Florida. Kigali, Rwanda. Oh, man. Kagami's goons watching the channel. Let's continue. Lagos, Nigeria. Shout out to the family out in Nigeria, man. Shout out to the brothers, man. Kampala, Uganda. Las Vegas, Nevada. Washington, D.C. Man, Washington, D.C. always on the list, man. You already know the State Department watching your boy. Nah, I'm kidding. Birmingham, UK. Right? Shout out to the family in the UK. San Francisco. Kingston, Jamaica. Pretoria, South Africa. Lusaka, Zambia. Memphis, Tennessee. Jacksonville, Florida. Columbus, Ohio. Basically, in summary, as you can see, the intelligent black men around the world tuning into the channel. Shout out to the black women as well. Can't forget about them. But yeah, man, that's what it is. So shout out to the audience. 20,000, man. Yo, that's wild, man. 20,000, man. We here, man. Like I said, we on the march to 100K. Then we on the march to 1 million. I swear to God, we could do it. I promise you we could do it. Now, when it comes to my channel is not a political channel, even though we may discuss politics from an international and geopolitical level, but it is not a political channel. On this channel, we discuss a variety of topics. I'm liable to talk about anything at any given time. But apart from political and social topics, we also talk about social dynamics between black men and women. We also tie that into our history as well. I definitely love jumping into history. I'm definitely a student of history. I definitely love studying and analyzing the history of the black man. That's something I'm fascinated about. When you understand your history as a black man, then the world begins to make sense around you and you begin to understand your assignment. So when it comes to this channel, I definitely have a lot of videos in regards to history. And speaking of assignments, an assignment that I'd given myself, or that I felt was given to me by my predecessors and my ancestors, was to rectify the historical narrative around certain prominent men, such as Dessalines, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, as well as Christophe. Now, if you go to my playlist section, you'll see a playlist entitled The Memoirs of Dessalines' Secretary. Now, in that playlist, I read a book. That book came out back in 1804. It was written by a gentleman by the name of Boistonnerre. That was Dessalines, one of Dessalines' right-hand mans. And he wrote a book from his perspective, the first-person perspective of the Haitian Revolution. This was not a second-hand account like that garbage that was written by Thomas Maju. He wasn't even there. He wasn't even born when the revolution was going down. But for whatever reason, Haitians love quoting Thomas Maju as if his literature is gospel. He wasn't even there. His literature is garbage. But in the case of Boistonnerre, he was actually there. He was on the battlefield. He was next to Dessalines. He was shaking Dessalines' hand every day. What up, bro? Dapping him up. That was his man's, right? They was, having dinner together, drinking liquor together, smashing women together. And on my channel, I read his entire book for free on my channel. So go check that out, man. The Memoirs of Dessalines' Secretary. When it comes to the mainstream Western narrative of Haitian history, we are only given it from the perspective of the Europeans, from the Western perspective. We are never given it directly from those who were actually there. So on my channel, that's one thing I've definitely placed a lot of my energy into, resurrecting those old letters, documents, and books that were written during that time and resurrecting them and presenting them to an audience in the modern day. Now, also in my playlist section, I have another playlist entitled The Biography of King Henry Christophe. And in that playlist, I had read a book that recently came out entitled Black Crown by Paul Clammer. And I read the entire book and I reacted to the book with the audience. So as I was reading the book for the first time, I was reacting. I was getting my live thoughts and reactions. Now, Christophe, one of my favorite ancestors to ever walk the face of the earth, one of the most incredible black men to ever walk the face of the earth. You're talking about a black man that was born in bondage, right? Born in the European colonies on a plantation where he was never supposed to rise above the status of property, right? And somehow ended up crafting one of the most incredible life stories that we've ever seen. from being enlisted in the French colonial military as a teenager and being brought to the United States during the American Revolutionary War, during the American War of Independence, right? So remember when the French had came to the assistance of the Americans, Christophe was part of that contingent of French soldiers as a teenager. So he was down in Georgia, down in Florida. He was in the southern United States during the American War of Independence as a teenager. Then he came back to Haiti. Well, actually during that time, it was called the French colony of Saint-Domingue. So he came back to Saint-Domingue, gained his freedom. So now he's a free black man. He's still in the colony, so he's still dealing with discrimination and segregation, but he's a free black man, in his early 20s. He has a job. He's making money. Now he's engaging in commerce, right? He got his own little business, selling horses. So now he's stacking his bread. He's a young guy in the colonies in his 20s. He got a girlfriend. His girlfriend is from a free black family, right? Her father owns a hotel. So now he's working in the hotel. He started out as a waiter, as a cashier. Then he became a manager. Then as time went on, he became an owner. And it was around that time the revolution broke out. So Christophe had the choice. He could have went to, Louisiana. He could have fled the colony when the revolution broke out. But instead, he went into the mountains with his wife and joined the rebellion. Now, during this time, Christophe already had some military experience dating back to his teenage years during the American War of Independence. And then when he came back, he was also part of the colonial militia because he had that rank from the military. So he was part of the colonial militia. So he had some, military experience. So then he became, like I said, one of the head commanders of the revolution. And then, of course, later on, signing the Declaration of Independence. And when Christophe was in power, when Christophe was the head of state of the country, to me, I always label it as the golden age, right? That was when his territory was self-sufficient, built schools, universities, hospitals. And of course, you can't forget the legendary Citadel, one of the greatest black architectural achievements in the history of civilization, right? A fortress that was so massive and genius that even the Europeans couldn't even understand it during that time. But apart from all that, the greatest thing that stuck out to me was the fact that Christophe would engage in military operations, naval operations, where he would attack European slave vessels and rescue enslaved Africans off them ships. And to me, that's the one thing that I admire the most, even more than all of his accomplishments geopolitically, economically, militarily, even architecturally with the Citadel and everything like that. Those military operations, rescuing the family off them ships. Man, listen, man, Christophe, one of the greatest black men to ever do it just for that. And you can't forget when the French government had the audacity to send an ambassador over to negotiate with Christophe and demand reparations. We can't forget what Christophe do. Christophe had him arrested and had him executed. And of course, they tried to have that story buried out the history books. But like I said, man, on my channel, we pay homage to the ancestors. We go deep into history. We revive old documents, old letters, old books that was written during that time. And man, we present it to the public. So yeah. If you're a black man, now if you're a black woman too, that's fine too. But if you're a black man especially, I would highly suggest starting out with those two playlists first. Start out with those two first. And then I would recommend right after that, go to this one right here, The Colonial System Unveiled. I think if you're a black man and you watch those 3 playlists from start to finish, I think it might trigger something in your spirit. I think it might trigger something in your soul. But apart from that, man, apart from the current events, topics, the commentary, apart from the historical commentary, apart from the geopolitical international commentary, apart from, me just coming at random talking heads and commentators and personalities in black YouTube and individuals who are public figures in the media, apart from that, man, like I said, man, we just have a good time over here. It's like a think tank over here, a think tank for intelligent black men. And of course, the ladies are welcome to come and sit and listen and contribute to the conversation. But another reason I made my channel a few years ago was because I felt like there was a shift in the environment, a shift in the atmosphere, where it actually became fashionable to go against your own people, to talk down on your own people, right? To denigrate your own people. It actually became like fashionable and trendy to do it out in the open, out in the public. And it wasn't condemned, it wasn't shamed. Like, for example, I remember back in like the early to mid 2010s, I remember the conversation during that time. It was about, black business and, economic cooperation and do for self and self-sufficiency and buy back the block and the importance of the black family. And then you see, economic networks being formed, around the world where, black men started thinking internationally and traveling the world globally and, engaging economically amongst each other and things like that. And then something shifted around like late 2010s, early 2020s, something shifted where it was no longer about buy back the block and them economic cooperation and loving each other and sticking together. And something shifted where now it became fashionable to, talk down on each other. Black man talking down on black women talking down on black man, this ethnic group talking down on this ethnic group. something shifted where that became the mainstream conversation, and the productive conversations kind of got pushed to the back. So, you know, black men like myself, we didn't really have nowhere to go, because I'm not going to jump into the mess and sling shit with y'all. So I decided to make my own channel from my own perspective, right? For those who thought like me and felt like me, we had a place to kick it. We had a place to be, right? So when everybody else wasting their time engaging in buffoonery, we're going to be over here engaging in productive behavior. And that's why I thought my channel would always remain, you know, super small, super tiny, because I want to have intelligent conversations. So I thought it was going to be like 7 people in here. But fast forward to today, we had over 20,000. So to me, that's crazy. And like I said, my channel is for the international black man, the black man located anywhere around the world. It doesn't matter your location, doesn't matter your religion, doesn't matter nothing. You're a black man, I got love for you. You're a black woman, I got love for you. Now, apart from that, you'll notice that towards the end of my videos, I usually play a song, I usually play a record. And yes, some people ask me, yo, that sounds like you. Yes, that's me. At the end of my videos, you probably gonna hear a song. Yeah, that's me. That's my song. Now, since I've had my channel, I think I've dropped like 2 projects. I think like last year, I dropped a project entitled Sunset. Go to my playlist section. 25 tracks, no features. And I dropped another project a couple months ago entitled Sahel 1816. Go check that out. Brand new, just hit the streets. Go to my playlist section, everything in the playlist section. Now, when it comes to me, writing records, writing music is something I've always loved to do. It's just a natural talent of mine. I wrote my first song when I was 8 years old. And also, coincidentally, by virtue of growing up in New York, I've happened to go to school with, you know, the sons and daughters of, you know, a lot of prominent individuals, you know, rappers, producers, DJs. So, you know, when you're sitting in class, you know, and your classmate, he's the son of, you know, such and such rapper, such and such producer, naturally, that's going to pique your interest, right? So at 8 years old, I wrote my first verse at 8 years old. So at this point, it's just easy for me to do music. It's something I love to do. It's fun to do. So every now and again, you're going to see me come out with a new project, right? So in the past year, I dropped 2 projects. So maybe later in the year, I might drop another project. Who knows? So, you know, just be aware of that. At the end of my videos, yes, that track you hear playing, that's my song. That's me. Now, my artist name is different from my YouTube name, so don't get it confused, right? But anyways, as I wrap it up, to close out, I'm going to play some of my favorite records off the latest project, Sahel 1816, right? And that's how we going to close it, right? Let's go.
Rock my women and die for my brother. Never gon' fall when I'm deep under pressure. Tell them we back and they better accept it. Move like a king, every step is divine. Ride on my enemies with no exception. Taking revenge and I'm taking what's mine. Told me she loved me and said that it's real. So independent, ain't signing no deal. Feel like a king and I'm up at Cap Henry. I'm in the citadel, top of the hill. Trying to run up and we let off a cannon. Secret location, I'm keeping it sealed. You ain't retaliate, Franco Medina. Came to the country and he got killed. You ain't retaliate, Rafi and Mans. Thought you was loyal, thought you was real. Didn't even wanna come pick up the body. Had your man locked up, he died in the cell. Up at the palace, I'm throwing a party. Right on the south and I'm giving them hell. And my little shorty, she looking exotic. African features, she casting a spell. Run to the check like I work on my fitness. Wake up each morning and handle my business. Say that she love me, she want my genetics. Wanna get married and make it in the spot, but they knowin' my name. Beautiful passenger, bet she gon' ride. Keep it authentic, I'm never gon' change. Always been solid, I'm built to survive. Gotta stay focused, I'm deep in the game. Never surrender, I got too much pride. Took all my losses and stayed in my lane. Took all my losses and now I got racks. Took all my losses and made that shit back. Plan to make gold, I need plenty of plaques. Making my enemies empty the stash. Feel like a see me, I feel like Chiani. African gold is all over my body. African diamonds adorning my fingers. African kid when you look at my features. Enemy watching. Gotta go get it, I'm never waiting. Stay in the trends and I'm innovative. Shorty, she on me, she said she love me. Straight to the top and I'm elevated. Straight to the top and I'm never stopping. Running my business, I'm enterprising. Working that money, I get it fast. Stay in my lane and I hit the gas. Counting my blessings and make it last. Don't want a fraction, I want it all. Stick to the code and the protocol. Feel like a king and I'll never fall. Fuck up a check when I'm in the mall. Riding that German, I'm in a Benz. Plotting revenge, I don't make amends. Hitting that corner and make it bend. Up in the sky like commercial pilots. Keep it 100, I'm moving silent.